What's your biggest flex that you'll never tell anyone? Deaf person here, who wears hearing aids and relies heavily on lip reading. I get excited on the extremely rare occasions I can figure out a spoken phrase without any lip reading. It almost never happens. Or when I recognize a song I know. But there's no point in bragging, because other people will just think I'm not that deaf and make less of an effort to face me/speak clearly. Lol. I think I can kinda relate to this cause I stutter, and I feel extremely happy when I'm able to string together a sentence perfectly when I'm conversing with strangers over the phone. I was quoted on some literary website one time for something I said off the cuff in an argument. I also got to play a few shows with some of my favorite bands of all time. But I'm so far removed from that music scene now that no one I know would ever care about it except for me. I'm kinda in the same boat. I produce music for like 15 years, signed to 7 different labels, and have headlined shows. Noon I hang out with now has any idea. I was in the grocery store and saw an older woman standing in the aisle comparing what was in her cart to what was in her wallet, obviously counting to see if she could afford everything. Based on her body language as she walked away, I could tell that the answer was no. So I took a 20 out and walked up to her and said, "Ma'am, when you were over there just a second ago this fell out of your wallet." I handed her the bill and just walked away so she wouldn't be embarrassed if she figured out I was lying. I did hear her say thank you, so I half turned and told her you're welcome. Have a nice night. Apostrophe. It was only $20, but I think it made a difference to her, and that felt amazing. Good on you! Exclamation mark. I was waiting in line at a cashier last year where the woman in front of me saw her card being declined while paying. She told the cashier she was going to her car and coming back. I just paid her bill while she was out and came across her going back, and as I was leaving the store. You can tell when people are going through hardship at times, and little things like this actually makes me think if more people helped each other like this, there'd still be hope for humanity. I bought some then relatively worthless Apple stock because I thought I'd be able to eBay the stock certificate with the rainbow Apple logo when the company went out of business. My investment guy just thinks I'm really clever. I've not corrected him. Do you have a picture of the certificate to post? I like looking at older certificates. Not too long ago somebody posted one of Disney. Wish they still did that. I too like looking at certificates, but only in person. If could mail it to me, that would be great. I'm an appraiser for said certificates. Better send it to me first, so that I can make sure you are not getting ripped off. I'm a career specializing in the safe transportation of certificates. I will happily assist in delivering this to you for appraisal. Hi, I'm Tim Apple, and I can guarantee the authenticity of this certificate, but I need to see it in person first. When I was 15 I won a scholarship to study ballet in Russia. It was amazing. This would be good for 2 truths and a lie. I got accepted into Mensa and then immediately realized I don't want to hang out with the type of people who join Mensa, so I never went through with it. I'm too embarrassed to tell anyone I took the test. You passed the real intelligence test by shunning the Mensa douchebaggery when you cold flaunted it obnoxiously. I'm one of those people that with minor changes to hair/facial hair I'll look like a completely different person. It'll be useful if I ever need to go on the lam. Eater. I developed the habit of carrying 4 different types of photo IDs all with different hair and facial hairstyles because of this. I have that kind of a face too. Most people never see me in a crowd, even if they know me well. I know for sure I could disappear if I was ever wanted for anything, because when I was 18 something similar happened to me. Won't go into details, but I walked past someone who was actually looking for me, and the only change I did was wear a hat. Being forgettable isn't always a bonus though. I do have old driver's licenses that look like they are from different people. Each photo doesn't look like the last. I raised $100,000 for a scholarship fund in the memory of my deceased twin brother. Since that time we've given away over 200 scholarships. I'm sorry about your brother, but it's amazing you were able to help so many people. 3. I keep light up sketches under my bed to walk around the house at night. You genius. I never get bored. Ever. It's a useful superpower when I'm stuck in certain situations. I'm never interested. Edit. My first awards and highest rated comment ever is about not being interesting in anything is so on brand for me. I have depression. 2. Had a class where the professor was pissed that everyone did really bad on an essay and was yelling at the class. He said that aside from one person who got a 97%, he was disappointed with everyone there. I had a 97%. Similar thing happened to me in an English class junior year of high school. Assigned some book, Maybe to Kill a Mockingbird? And I read it like 5 times before the exam. Teacher said that he curved it to the highest score and no one had ever gotten a 100% in all his years of having the test. Just before he started passing the tests back, he asked me how many times I read the book. I was shy and quite in high school, so having every eye on me sucked. But anyways, he said he was impressed and I ended up getting extra credit on it because he curved it to the next highest score. In my public speaking class, I had to give a speech on procrastination. I wrote the speech an hour before class. In my feedback notes I was told I had great preparation. The expert. More like the procrastinator. At one point I could sing along perfectly to We Didn't Start the Fire. I still know most of the words, but I'm always so embarrassed to sing in front of other people, lol. Not even Billy Joel remembers the lyrics, lol. Has admitted to needing a lyrics binder when he plays it live. I saw Elton John in Vegas. Red Piano Tour. During Benny and the Jets, I can whistle extremely loudly. I nailed the whistle part that is on live version of the song that plays on the radio. He smiled. I saw him live once while he unfortunately was battling a bad flu. Still sounded ducking amazing though. And at one point he turned around to throw up in a bucket behind the piano. We were in the seats sort of behind the stage, supposed to be the cheap seats, but he always turned around and acknowledged us, so it was great, and just cheered as loud as we could to show support, and he laughed and put his finger up to his mouth as if to say SSH. It's a secret. Apostrophe. Mad props to him for still performing, even though he was sick enough to throw up! Exclamation mark. I've been clean 6 months off heroin for the first time in 5 years. Edit. I'm speechless. Thank you to everyone that gave awards and all of your sweet words. I'm proud of everyone that's also clean. I'm newish to Reddit and this was a warm welcome. Zuxo. I'm so proud of you. I have an no gag reflex. This will go to my grave. Married man with 3 kids. How did you find out? It was just a phase. We don't talk about that. I have enough old, valuable Magic the Gathering cards to buy a car. A new, really nice car. I don't tell anyone I roll, because they're from when I was young and collected them. And my current social circle would think it's kid/nerd stuff and wouldn't understand. Doesn't get me down, though. Current plan is to hold on to them until they go up enough over time to match my mortgage balance. Then use them to pay off my house. Edit. I appreciate all the comments. I currently actively keep up with the MTG market, and I'm a pretty close follower of the /mtfinance sub. As far as the macup of the cards, RL cards, mostly from 93/94, and complete sets from Urza's block and earlier. Consider a safety deposit box. Floods, fires, mold, etc. can really kill your valuables. Edit. Thanks for the silver and other rewards, kind strangers. They are in a safe location. I lived with my grandparents my whole life, who lived in a small little house across the street from a big fancy neighborhood development. They lived in the same house for 40 years before the development. It was a very bad hill on a busy road with the neighborhood in trance at the bottom of the hill, which was across the street from our house. Me and my grandpa would pull people out of wrecks all the time. Saved a bunch of lives, but sadly saw over 10 people die on that hill growing up. The big fancy people in that neighborhood would always bring us food and gifts. They called my grandpa the gatekeeper. That is quite an horrifying story. Where do you live that 10 people can die and the government doesn't intervene? If a child gets hit on a street in the Netherlands, you can bet your ass the next day the government is making plans to prevent future accidents. I intentionally don't step on ants just because they're cool. I don't remember when I started doing it. Possibly after I had my kid, but I avoid killing insects when I'm outside. I always think to myself, who am I to end this creature's existence for no reason other than I'm bigger, except for wasps. I hunt them down. Me and my girlfriend created in the past a YouTube channel for kids. Playing with toys using only our hands and voices. We had videos hitting 300k plus views. But we uploaded few videos, like 10 videos, because our priorities changed and we stopped. But we were still able to make several $100s from them. And the videos still generate some money today after many years. I think if we had continued with that, maybe we would be able to make a lot of money. I regret we didn't keep uploading more videos. Do you know that random, intuitive ideas you have sometimes? Pay attention to them. Your DP is smarter than yourself sometimes. I saw a lizard in the middle of a busy road. I bent down on the side of the road and called for it as I put my hands out, and he ran straight into my arms. I carried him to safety and didn't think anything of it until I heard a stranger behind me go, "Did y'all see that shit?" Question mark. She's a lizard whisperer. Man, I wish there was another witness, because I bet I looked cool. I saved a baby squirrel this same exact way. I didn't think about how crazy it was that the squirrel came running and hiding in my jacket till later that day. 4-lane busy road, and its mom was roadkill in the middle of it, and it was frantically investigating its mom as cars drove by. Still breaks my heart. I'm on level 4,000 in Candy Crush. Edit. I have spent $0 on the game. You are worse than my mom, but she's strangely proud. Woman in my office had a fairly long piece of TP attached to her shoe, and I stepped on it and attached it from her shoe. I felt like a superhero. I still feel like a superhero about it. Bless people like you. I once had a server purposefully drop something next to our table, just so she could have an excuse to bend over and grab the toilet paper off of my shoe. I still think about her from time to time. I wrote a popular and successful fanfic years and years ago. I still live on that high. Edit. I'm considering revealing it maybe. That is also my deepest darkest secret. I moved them all to AO3 a few years ago, and I still get a little thrill when I get thumbs up from readers a few times a year. When my girlfriend and I worked at the same bar, I threw a coaster at her like a frisbee. It arced over her and like 20 customers, only to land perfectly on the neat stack of other coasters like 50 feet away. It was so ducking cool, but nobody noticed, except one customer who I later had to kick out for taking a nap on the bar. No point in telling anybody, but I look back fondly on that moment. Edit. I'm pleased to see that I'm not the only unrecognized GD. Neat stories, everyone. I secretly enjoy everyone's shock when they first meet my wife. I'm not insanely attractive. I'm a nerdy scientist. My wife is a doctor. She's funny, driven. She's smarter than me. She's 59 and could very well be a model. In fact, she's been approached numerous times to move to New York City. We've known each other since 2nd grade. Started dating in college. My high school/college friends are still baffled that I casually married the most attractive girl we knew in high school/college. Because we both have insanely busy schedules. We can go months or years without meeting each other's coworkers. My favorite reaction from mine is "That's your wife!" exclamation mark. And I'm sure it's vice versa for her. I'm either really good at talking to people and pretty charismatic, or I'm a totally ducking buffoon who makes everyone cringe. No in between. Hey, me too. My debit card went through for a really large amount, and the lady behind the counter had been being so smug and irritating for so long. And then she tried to deny my card because it wouldn't go through for that amount, and I asked her to just please try it. The look on her face when it went through was so satisfying. May I never make that larger purchase again. I have gotten to a place in my life that, unless I tell someone, it is nearly impossible to tell I have autism. Edit. Thank you so much for the awards. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Same dude. Whenever I tell anyone, I always get the "wow, I never would've known" reaction. I'm not a big fan of people saying that I don't look autistic though. Edit. Thanks for the awards, guys. D. I got you, bro. You look autistic. I beat morbid obesity, which spiraled into a violent battle with anorexia, which I also beat. I eventually went on to get into modeling, weightlifting, and more. Compare pictures of me now with pictures of me from 5 years ago, with pictures of me from 10 years ago, and they all look like completely different people. I'm proud of you. I can make the price of any stock go down simply by buying it. I can do that too. I can build a Lego set in less years than it gives you to do so. Fucking legend. I can name every US state capital. This is a flex, because I'm Canadian and have no ties to the US. Every country in Europe and a lot of other countries. Also, if someone tells me their birthday I won't ever forget it. Oh, and I'm completely ambidextrous. I write with whatever hand picks up the pen and the writing looks identical. Although, I prefer to do my signature with my left because it looks cooler. It's a surprisingly useless skill. Only one person has ever noticed, and they could not believe it. Hey PSSST. Please subscribe and like.